The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
Wednesdays are for pro wrestling. That, of course, means another edition of Pro Wrestling Unscripted right here on the Podzilla 1985 network. And just like the video I did for the Mario Golf, this is going to take a couple attempts. I am the five-star man, Asa Gray, hosting for the evening. Joining me at this time is the Big D, Dalton Anthony.
Yo.
That sounded a little bit better, so we're gonna do this thing and just kind of see what happens. Because technology is fun. But
oh yeah, it's been super awesome for us today.
Like I think OBS is just bricked on my end, or Facebook is, because I cannot get the live figured out. One thing went wrong a couple weeks ago, and I have not gotten it to work since. So I don't know what's going on there, but here we are. We're still doing the audio. And then tonight, it's the same thing that happened a couple shows ago, where there was a huge delay the first time we started to record. And I was just like, nope, that ended up with us like talking over each other. And it was not a great episode to listen to, I'm sure. So hopefully this one will be a little bit better. By how the intro went, I think it is going to, but fingers crossed.
It'll be good. It's going to work this time. I'm completely convinced it's going to work perfectly this time.
So, we didn't talk about it last week because we're just going to jump into it because there is plenty to talk about from the last couple weeks in the world of pro wrestling. But the biggest story, I would say, of the last 2 weeks, because I don't think anything has topped it, and thankfully we didn't get a repeat, but not this past Friday, but the Friday before, there was a huge batch of releases coming from WWE. We're going to run down the list here, and I'm going to end with the one that I think is the biggest deal. And Dalton, anything you want to chime in on as we go down here, feel free to interject. But WWE releases, and including people who were in NXT, obviously, Chase Parker and Matt Martell, who were wrestling as Everrise. And I'm just going to already stop the list because this was stupid. This sucks. They were super funny. They seem to have been starting or in a feud with Hit Row. They would have been great foils for them. But also, they were just given a WWE YouTube show the weekend before.
I mean, they've proven that they don't care.
No.
Aleister Black had vignettes, and then 2 weeks later they cut them. So they've proven that they don't care.
And yeah, it does not matter what people are currently doing. It does not matter what ongoing plans are. We'll kind of tie that in a little bit later with another one of the cuts. But if you, like me, are a fan of these guys, and especially because they really just started to get going, they did launch a YouTube channel, and it's The Show Rules. And they've done 2 episodes so far. It is so good. I highly recommend anybody that if you liked them, or if you're not sure who I'm talking about, go out of your way to check this out, because I think it's hilarious. I love it. And they also have stuff on PWTs, and they're going to do just fine wherever they go. But these are 2 just super entertaining guys, and I can't wait to see what they do next. And The Show Rules on YouTube. They do episodes every Saturday, I believe. So they've got 2 up. Good stuff. Go check it out. Where's my list? The one that made me... This one... a lot of these made me really sad, but Fandango getting cut was a bummer.
That's a
because
bummer.
Especially because Breezango got moved to NXT. They were just tag champions, but like you said, doesn't matter. They were doing some fun stuff. They were actually getting to wrestle more, it seemed like. I was on board with that. Again, kind of in a feud with Imperium, but again, doesn't matter. And this was the one where I was like, oh my god, they're going to cut Breeze. They can't do it. They can't do it. But spoiler alert. 205 Live got gutted with Arya Davari, Tony Nese, August Gray, Kurt Stallion, and the Bollywood Boys all getting cut from the 205 Live. Not necessarily brand, but that's where they were mostly featured.
Yeah.
205 Live is criminally underrated, criminally underpromoted, underviewed, undervalued, and all of these guys are incredibly talented, and it sucks. The Bollywood Boys, did you see their post? About being released, about how they were fired on the day that they were coming in to do rehab because one of them got injured in their last match.
Oh, no.
And it's just like, yeah, so it's just like, man, this is shitty. August Gray and Kurt Stallion, they were both coming in from Evolve. Kurt Stallion seemed like they were doing stuff with him. He was injured. I think he was on the shelf currently, but he's already announced that we have his... Oh, I need to find that. I meant to look that up beforehand, and I forgot. Because he's no longer... I'm assuming... Because Kurt Stallion is how he wrestled on...
The Indies.
The Indies before he went to Evolve and signed with WWE. So I'm guessing he signed over the name Kurt Stallion because now he's competing as Stallion Rogers.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Which is also, like, totally cool name.
Yeah.
I almost said cool guy name, and I was like, no, that's dumb. He has announced that he's available as of July 25th. So later this month, we could start seeing him again. For bookings, stallionrogers@gmail.com. So that's cool. He's landed on his feet. He's hitting the ground running. Excited for that because I'm a big fan of him. He's one of those. He's one of the people who I saw for the first time when we went to that First Glory Pro show.
Yeah.
And I was
he wrestled Danny Burch, Martin Stone, but he wrestled Danny Burch.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, so I'm in love. This is great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bollywood Boys. I know you like them, the Singh brothers.
Oh god, they're so much fun. That's a bummer. The one
even Randy Orton kind of tweeted out a nice thing about them because like that is arguably the thing they're most known for from their WWE run was that backdrop table spot.
Yeah.
That Orton just got murdered. Was immediately like, ooh, I took a life.
That was rough. The one thing that I think is going to happen, it sounds like we're going to get a lot of stories in a couple weeks about the 205 Live days.
I mean, we've already gotten them.
Really?
Yeah, Tony Nese has done a couple... he did an interview with Fightful, I think, or maybe Fightful transcribed the interview that he did with someone else. But just kind of how, like... And less about, like... From what I've seen, it wasn't, like, current 205 Live as much as some of the Cruiserweight Classic stuff. He talked about his time at Impact, because I completely forgot he was on Impact. Which, in my defense, apparently he was only on Impact for, like... He was signed to Impact for a while, but they didn't use him very much. And it was one of those really shitty deals of, hey, you're being paid per appearance, but you can't compete for anybody else if they're going to be on pay-per-view or sell DVDs.
Yeah, wrestling contracts sometimes are real dumb.
Yep.
At least WWE's, they'll, like, pay you.
Yeah, you're still getting your... Yeah, it's not a per appearance thing. But they will also fire you for no reason.
That's true. That is also very true.
Marina Shafir was let go. So now the only remaining member of the Four Horsewomen that's currently signed is Shayna Baszler.
Yup.
So that's a bummer. Because Jessamine Duke was let go from her NXT contract. She still seems to be a part of Up, Up, Down, Down. Because they were posting up, there's going to be a video going out, like, where the fans pick the challenge for BR Restart, and she's involved in that still. So
that's good.
That's, but we've talked about that before. Whereas Marina Shafir is probably going to go back to the independents. We'll see. Her and Roderick Strong both tweeted out things about just like, oh, well, now you're the world's problem. It's like, yeah, I like that. Let's go. Arturo Ruiz, and he's someone who every time he's popped up, I've enjoyed watching him. He's got that really unique capoeira style. I genuinely thought with the vignettes that he was going to be a part of the Diamond Mine thing because he's very MMA, like, offensive based, and that seemed like it would have been a really good fit, but unfortunately was not meant to be. Tino Sabatelli, who I don't know a ton about. I know he has done stuff. I think he's even I think he was the one that was in the match with Hideo Itami.
He was the one that injured Hideo. No,
yeah, so
that might have been Riddick Moss, but he was tag.
But he was teaming with him.
Yeah,
I think that was the tag team. Because I remember they were a team, but I don't remember a ton out of there. Killian Dane, which
bummer
sucks. Again, I hate saying that, and it's so general and so we're really not adding anything to the conversation, but what else can you say? The curse of Sanity continues. The only remaining member of Sanity that's left is now Nikki Cross, and she wasn't even involved in the call-up on the main roster. So
that might have been what saved her.
Yeah, it turns out that might have been a blessing in disguise. But still, the stuff he was doing with Drake Maverick was a ton of fun, and just, man, it's stupid. I don't get it. None of this makes sense. And then I think the biggest one, at least for me personally, and I'm not trying to trivialize anybody else's situation, but Dalton, you know how big of a fan I am of Up Up Down Down.
Yeah.
And I know you don't watch a ton of it, but even as a casual fan knows that Tyler Breeze and Up Up Down Down have become synonymous. He has done so much for that channel, between the 500-day reign as the Up Up Down Down champion, the number of pay-per-view defenses, the formation of Left Right, the foundation of the Left Right championship, which has now become its own thing now that once he lost the Up Up Down Down title to Mia Yim. There is Battle of the Brands, which has been, I think, is now the longest running show that Up Up Down Down has, where it's him and Woods going against each other on SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
Mm-hmm.
They're on season 3, and it's that's a ton of fun to watch. There's Da Party Wednesdays, which is where it's Woods, Breeze, Adam. I almost called him Chugs because that's his name on the show. Adam Cole and Cesaro, and they just play Uno. And it's best of 5. They're they end up being anywhere from 45 minutes is the shortest one to an hour and a half Uno games. And it's just, there's so many amazing inside jokes and quotes, and it's just it's a blast to watch. But now the future of all of that is very uncertain, because I messaged you last week when Uno went up, and it was just oh, should we call this one Uno More? And they were just yeah, this is the last one. This might be the last one. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what we're going to be allowed to do. Because now that Breeze has been, cut from WWE, it does not seem like he's being retained as an Up Up Down Down type talent. And if you're wondering what the difference between why it's happening like this for him and the difference between this and Jessamine Duke, it's because Jessamine Duke had seemingly already transitioned full time. She was no longer wrestling or going to the Performance Center to train to compete on air. She was doing behind the scenes and making content for Up Up Down Down already. So that was all she was doing within the company. Whereas Breeze was an on-air competitor, and we don't know what the behind the scenes look like. So, and then I was okay, the true test is going to be what comes out today. And we did not get an answer, because today they aired a behind the scenes, deleted scenes, lost footage episode. So there isn't a new episode of Uno. There's technically a new episode, but it's not they just filmed this earlier in the week, or they filmed this last week and put it out.
Yeah.
So that's that has me greatly worried, and I don't remember when Battle of the Brands. I think Battle of the Brands comes out Thursdays, but they talk about pretty frequently how they record those in bulk. So they'll sit down and do 3 or 4 episodes at a time. So maybe they have some stuff in the bank that they can still put out, but even he did because if you remember before the mandate came down that people couldn't have like Twitch channels and that third party shut down, it was Breeze, Ty Dillinger, who's now Sean Spears, of course, and Baron Corbin started one together called The Sweets. And it had been pretty much inactive because Spears wasn't doing a ton with it, and Breeze obviously couldn't. Well, like literally the day after he got cut, Breeze was streaming on that channel with Woods. Like they were just playing Mario Golf.
Nice.
Which was fun, and it was cool, and he did a little Q&A after, because Woods wasn't on it for very long. They just did, a couple games, but they did, he did a little Q&A, and he was basically talking about, like, everything is still very much up in the air. His focus right now is going to be his outside business interests, and he's going to do, they're going to start streaming more consistently as part of the Suites. I think they even just put out a schedule that's going to be him and Spears. Excuse me. He mentioned there's no plan he doesn't want to do a podcast. He isn't going to immediately just throw up like a PWT's shirt because he wants to make sure that he phrased it in a really, really cool way. Like, not as a way to, like, throw shade at people who immediately, open up PWTs or start podcasts or things like that. He was just like, I don't want to just do it, willy-nilly. I want to make sure that I'm earning whatever time and money that you're willing to give to me. So he wants to have a fully fleshed out plan ready to go, which I think is a great way of looking at it. And I'm very excited to kind of see what more he's going to do. So, but man, this sucks. And like selfishly, and I get that this is all selfish, but like it's going to suck. Like up, down, down is not going to be the same if he can't be a part of it anymore. And I don't think I would be the only one to tell you that. Like I'm sure, look at the posts that Creed and Breeze both did of it's just like, how much those two mean to each other.
Yeah. And that's not selfish. That's you just like WWE is just cleaning house at random at this point. And they're doing it to their roster that they are making us invested with. So it's not selfish. It's very much like, it's The Office whenever Michael Scott left, or Steve Carell. Like, you are allowed to be angry about that, and it's not selfish. It's something that you consume, and there's really, like, seemingly no reason for it. Are they really protecting revenue right now? No. Are they trying... Like, that's the thing. We don't know why they're doing it, because they don't have to tell us. Which is, like, it's fine. That's capitalism. But, like, there's no rhyme or reason for it, so they just keep getting rid of all these people. And it's not just underneath people like Aleister Black, Samoa Joe. Granted, he came back, but they were Braun Strowman. They were cutting all of these big names that they are like that we are supposed to care about, and they're like, yeah, they're not here anymore. We can write a show without them. And it's like, but we like these characters that you've forced us to like, basically. And it's like, yeah, don't worry about it. And that's just what they do it all the time. This has been probably the worst year for it. This has been worse than 2020 by a lot. The only difference is it was like socially not great last year because you cut a bunch of people in the middle of a pandemic when nobody was running shows, basically. So unless you were Hawkins or Ryder...
Just to like piggyback on that, you cut people during a pandemic when you were the only company to cut people.
Yeah.
Like, no other major wrestling company made cuts except for WWE, who is the richest and most successful. Sorry, I just had to get that last little jab in.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at it in that 2020 bubble, it's worse. But, like, star power-wise, these cuts were a lot worse. I think the biggest names that got released from that were Hawkins and Ryder, the big one. Now, of course, there were people that left right before the pandemic hit and right after that big cut, but like those were the top two names. This one, if you just like the month and a half of cuts we've been dealing with, we have somebody that just main evented a pay-per-view a month before. We have somebody that they were just running new vignettes on main roster TV 2 weeks before. Like, we're having mainstays of the NXT and main roster just gone. And there's really no rhyme or reason for it because, again, they're recording record sales, but they can't keep the talent they have. And I think it's the selling rumor. I don't think they're going to sell anytime soon, but, like, that's what everybody's saying now. Well, they're just clearing up space for the sale. And it's like, I guess that's an answer, but until that sale happens, there's no real reason for it.
Well, and it's less clearing out space as much as freeing up funds. Like now these are, especially like it was Braun, like that was the big thing. The reasoning behind Braun Strowman's release was, wow, this dude's getting paid apparently like 7 figures, and because he was too good at negotiating his own deal. But now it's like, well, now this is money that we can free up in our budget and be like, oh, actually, now we don't have to pay this $3 million. So it's all like, this isn't they're not cutting people because a sale is imminent. These are all just like beginning level steps for the future. Like, I don't know if they would be ready to sell even by the end of the year. But granted, that's just like from seeing people smarter than me talk about it. That's just kind of the impression that I'm getting. I am in no way an expert on any of that. That's just kind of, like I said, that seems like where it's going.
Yeah. And it's like, it's super shitty in general just for these people, because a lot of these people, I'm sure, just want to wrestle. And
oh, absolutely.
It's one of those things now, this is becoming a bigger problem. Like, I don't want to play the where are they going to go game anymore, because where they're going to go already have full rosters. Like, you can justify AEW probably needing a few more women. Mm-hmm. But like, besides that, AEW's roster is about where it needs to be right now. They already have a pretty big roster. Impact is not a big show. They don't need 80 wrestlers on retainer. They don't. They make do with what they have, and they have an amazing show because of it.
And that's part of what got them in. What got WWE in this problem or in this position is because go back, not even 4 years ago, they just started hiring literally everybody.
Yeah.
Because between AEW starting and the rumors of like even to a little bit before All In, there's rumblings of, hey, something's happening. On top of that, look at the huge push they did at NXT UK when World of Sport was announced. They started hiring literally anybody who they thought was like a quote unquote name on the independent scene, not because they saw money in these people necessarily, but because they didn't want them to earn money for somewhere else. So now they have this huge bloated roster with people that, they could have 15 hours of television weekly and they still wouldn't be able to fit everybody in. And it's just like, okay, well, now that they are having to kind of reconcile, we're spending all this money on people we have no intention of using. Now this is where, supposedly Nick Khan is coming in and just going full Axeman.
This is going to be a tangent that just went in my head. But man, I wish the territory system was still a thing right now. I mean, we have the independents, but it's not the same. Like, if we had the territories right now, I think this is probably in the time of wrestling history where we have all these amazing workers. Because think of the people they cut and how good they are. Think about how good Tyler Breeze is, like, at pure wrestling. We have people like that not signed to a company right now, and there's more there's more places to play right now than ever, but there's not bigger places to play. Like, back in the territory days, like, yeah, WWF was the main area, but they weren't the only area. And this was before, like, the 90s. I'm talking like 80s and shit. Like, and we don't have that anymore. Like, we have the indies, and that's cool, but, like, every match I do isn't recorded. Back in the territory days, all that shit, for the most part, like, everybody had a show. Like, Memphis had its own territory to where you could watch Memphis wrestling on Saturday mornings, and a random person would pop in, but you would have your own base roster of 20, 30 guys. We just don't have that anymore. If we did, I would feel a lot better about all of these all of these wrestlers getting released right now. I'm just kind of being like, man, the indies are going to be super bloated again, which, I mean, is good. I love the fact that we're going to see all these cool matchups coming up in like 90 days. But man, I wish there was more big places to play, because out of all the people, and we say this every time, out of all the people WWE releases in a year, that's a whole damn promotion.
Yeah.
Like, this year especially, you could build a pretty fucking great promotion with the people they've released.
Yeah. No
and
kidding.
not all of those people can go to AEW and New Japan. Like, I mean, granted, some of them will get picked up, but some of them won't. And it's not because they're not good. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. No.
I hate when good people don't have places to work.
Being signed is never an indication of talent. Like,
No,
because,
no.
you and I both know that between Southeast Missouri, Southern Illinois, Memphis, Arkansas, St. Louis, Kansas City,
Louis.
You go outside and you throw a rock, you're gonna hit a stupid talented wrestler.
Yeah.
Like it is a boon. Like it's a huge windfall of talent. It's just a giant toy box. But I want to take your tangent and ask you a question. Do you think that it's possible, not necessarily because the territory system as it was, long dead. That's not coming back.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know.
But I think what we're seeing right now is kind of an evolution of that. Because think about, and you said like, oh, every show back in those days was filmed. There's a ton of places that are running shows that are being filmed right now, because you have places like GCW, you have PWG is coming back. I meant to add that onto the list, but like PWG is running an event coming up soon. You have the AAW, the MLW, Glory Pro, WrestleMax, Journey, St. Louis Anarchy. There's places down in Texas. You have places up in Chicago, Freelance and 01, and there's a ton of mid-range, like I'm trying to say it without, because I'm not trying to insult anybody
there's a bunch of
by
indies.
calling them a size, but there's a ton of independent companies that have that name recognition. I would say arguably GCW is the biggest, just because they have so many different banners that they go under.
Yeah.
But like, what was it called just a couple years ago? The Collective.
Yeah.
Between IWTV and Fight TV, there's a ton of shows and pay-per-views, and even it's CW30 is the channel it's on. But it's that newer company out in Memphis that like Young Goats wrestle for.
Oh,
Austin
Championship
Wayne
Wrestling for Memphis.
Thank you, Championship Wrestling for Memphis. Like that just popped up and is doing great.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a ton of. Oh, real quick aside, just a personal aside to this tangent. Part of me is genuinely worried that the guy who runs that doesn't like me, even though we've never met. And the only reason I think that is because it's been a while. Like, I think the last time I had to do this was a few months ago, but I legit, like, would get tagged in stuff from, like, Memphis wrestling fans and being like, hey, this guy's stealing your gimmick because he's, it's Dustin Starr. He's done the 5-star thing.
Oh, no.
For, like, long. I mean, he's done it for longer than me, but mine was never wrestling affiliated.
Yeah.
Mine has strictly always been, it's always ripping off It's Always Sunny. And then it just happened to be that we stumbled our way into being affiliated with wrestling.
Yeah.
But, like, I've never seen him respond to it, but I've always just, like, had it in the back of my head of, like, oh, this dude thinks I'm ripping him off, and he's gonna hate, and he hates me.
Oh,
but
I would highly doubt that.
I don't think he knows I exist.
Yeah.
More than likely. Because why would he? But
that's also a thing, yeah. I mean, but then again, I'm going to tell you, just in independent wrestling, the amount of times that I have met random people, and I am talking dead-ass random people I've never met before, will come up to me and say, hey, I've seen your work. And then they will then pull from a match that I was in.
Remember when I had to have Wrestle Talk send me, Renee, I had to send me a voice message when he asked me to do the podcast a couple years ago? Because I was just like, no, you must mean Ace Hawkins. You clearly don't want me on a podcast, because who the f*** am I?
I'm just saying, like, I mean, I'm not saying he knows you and hates you.
My self-esteem is broken.
Yeah, but it's wild. I mean, just last night somebody said they knew me. And I was like, I don't know, we've never met. And he was like, I've seen you work. I'm like, okay, cool.
Did you apologize?
Yeah, I did. Because they told me who I was working, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, it was a good match. I was like, okay, good.
But anyway, getting back into what we were actually talking about, I do think that, you can easily do, like, this is a weird example, so please stick with me.
Okay.
Look at Matt Cardona, what he's doing right now. He did the AEW little stint, did a handful of shows, now he's done. I believe he signed with Impact, but I am not 100% sure that he's on an actual contract there. But he's there, he's doing stories, and he's doing well at Impact. But he's also doing this feud with Nick Gage at GCW. And that's going to pay off at a GCW show. So he could you could almost do like the quote-unquote territory schedule of, okay, so he's worked with GCW for, a few months. He does these shows. Now he's wrapped up there. He doesn't necessarily need to keep doing anything with GCW because now maybe what if he shows up at PWG down the line? And, does a few shows for them. And because that's what they used to do in the territories. Granted, it was usually over a longer stretch of time. Like, instead of, 4 or 5 shows, so 4 or 5 months, it would be, 6 months to a couple years. And it's like, okay, now that I've done everything I can do in the Pacific Northwest, I'm going to come down to Memphis. And now I'm going to go up to New York. And then I'm going to, So I think we could almost see something like that.
Yeah, there just needs to be, and I'm not saying this is a thing as a whole. There's obviously money in wrestling right now, but I think there needs to be more money in wrestling to suffice this for everybody. Because Matt Cardona is that's a good example, but it's also a very weird example. Because that dude makes money every way he does. Cardona could probably quit wrestling today and still live off of what he can make with all of his other ventures. I'm talking about people that strictly just want to wrestle.
Oh, no, I know. And like I said, I would like to point out, rewind the tape. I said this is a weird example. Yeah.
But it is a good example. It is a good example. It's just a little off.
Oh, yeah, no. But, you could see someone, say Aleister Black. He's not gonna sign with Impact or AEW or New Japan or, All Japan, what have you. Say he decides he doesn't want to sign another contract. He could do, all right, GCW is quote unquote the home territory, home promotion. And he does other shows say he gets booked at, this is not if you're listening, this is nothing. I don't know anything. I am pulling this out of my butt. Say he gets signed to do a CCW Super Show type thing. He could make these other appearances, but whatever story he's focused on is GCW. And he does a run with GCW. Okay, then he goes back to PWG. And, let him be the big bad at PWG for a while. For months at a time. Until he decides maybe he does want to sign somewhere. I think it's doable. Is it doable for everybody? Of course not. There's limited time and finances, and if every talented person who deserved a spotlight got it, then that would be great. But there's finite resources. Let Thanos snap his glove. He's called it a glove. It's the gauntlet. Let me snap the Infinity Gauntlet and just be yes, everyone is going to get the spotlight they deserve, and have it make sense and doable. But unfortunately, that's not a thing.
I totally, and we need to move off of it at this point. But
I just looked at the time.
I know I am actively watching my time. But when you said Thanos snap his Infinity Gauntlet, I totally thought, and 50% of the wrestlers are gone, and I'm like, that would fix a few problems. Don't do it talent based because your boy wouldn't be around anymore. I at least want a fair 50-50. But that's literally where my brain went to the pessimistic one of it. And then Thanos got rid of half of the workers. Be well, yeah, that we would all have more busy schedules then, because that's just.
No, obviously I did not. Obviously I did not intend to. I'm doing the other thing. See, because Thanos, that's how he would do it. That's why I'm saying no. Instead of doubling the resources,
Hulk needs to make the snap.
I'm going the other way.
Yeah, Hulk needs to make that snap, and then it'll be fine. Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, not Hogan. for obvious
Oh,
reasons.
God. Don't give him an Infinity Gauntlet.
Brother, oh my God, we get another NWO run in 2021. But I'm good. I'm good with. Oh man, this is gonna be a 2-hour show. I already see the next story.
No, it's not. It absolutely will not, because I can rush through some of these.
All right.
Because like the back half of our list is stuff from last week that we don't necessarily need to bring up. But
Yeah.
rapid fire. And honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one because fuck him and all drunk drivers. Jimmy Uso got another DUI. This is, I believe, his fourth. Since 2011.
Maybe since 2011. I looked back because I thought that too. The ones that are recent, he has only had one other one recently. The issue is he had a drunkenly conflict with a police officer like 3-4 years ago.
That was the one where Naomi was driving. He got out of the car smelling like alcohol and being confrontational with the cop.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be callous. I'm not trying to be cold.
No, you're allowed to. You're allowed to.
He clearly needs help, but the thing with that is no amount. I keep seeing people be like, "Oh, force him to go to rehab." It doesn't matter.
It doesn't work like that.
The statistics are there, and this is part of what I got my degree in. If the person who needs help is not willing to acknowledge it and is not willing to do it themselves, statistically, no amount of rehab, no amount of therapy is going to actually work. He has to make the decision that things need to change, and then he can go from there. But until then, you're a fucking millionaire, and Uber is a thing. There is literally no excuse for someone in this position to be driving drunk. If you're newer to the channel and to the podcast, I'm not going to get into it, but longtime fans know that I have a very, very personal gripe with drunk driving. So,
yeah,
it's a stupid mistake. It's not a mistake. It's a stupid choice. It's a dangerous choice. Drunk drivers are trash. If you are trying to defend the behavior or, well, hold on. No, fuck you too. You can't sit with us. So, hopefully
I think
he gets his shit together, but until he decides that he needs to do that, then it's not going to happen. And honestly, you can go back to the episode we did, because I feel if it wasn't the last time this happened, because there's been multiple times it's happened since we've started this show. If it might have been the first time or the second time, but one of the times they won the tag belts like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So what should happen is Roman Reigns should just be on TV, or even Paul Heyman, and be like, Jimmy embarrassed the family, and he's not allowed on my show. And then you just write him off, let Jay come back. Because the whole Jimmy and Jay and Roman thing has gotten kind of convoluted and has weakened a lot. But it doesn't matter how good of a performer he is. It doesn't matter how good the story he's currently in is. Get him off TV. Punish him. There has to be consequences. I don't know how he has a license still. He shouldn't have his license still.
So, and this isn't me defending him, so don't take it that way. The reason that he doesn't have a license is because he was found out not guilty the last time.
Yeah, I remember that. He was not guilty by a jury somehow.
Yeah, and then that was whenever I said it was only his third one or his third situation in the last couple of years. It's because that first one with the conflict, like, there's really nothing you can do to somebody like that besides fucking write him a citation. But like, you can't get his license taken away for that. And the most recent time he was found not guilty. My issue with it, obviously, with it, Jimmy, obviously, I'm also not a fan of drunk drivers. But WWE, that's my big issue, because you listen to the story that we just fucking talked about and the rules that they can make with their talent with people that literally were just sitting at their fucking house on a Wednesday. Watch that, and then you have somebody literally endangering people's lives. And I'm not fucking talking about in the ring. This isn't an unsafe worker. This is a motherfucker IRL being unsafe. Could potentially kill people. And you're like, well, I mean, it's not really our business. Motherfucker, make it your business. I have a job right now that if I got a DUI, I can promise you I'm going to be on a phone call the second I get out of that jail. And I don't fucking have a job where I perform in front of millions of people every week.
Also worth noting, because the number is just friggin' bonkers, he blew a .2.
2. Yeah. The legal limit in Florida is .08. 0.08 or
0.08. He didn't blow .02. He blew .2. that is dangerously drunk.
The second
that is a dangerous amount of alcohol in your system.
The second you get, and people that don't drink, the second you get point and then a number that's not 0, you're fucking drunk. Like, if you get 0.2, you are really fucking drunk. Like, it's not like he was buzzed and didn't realize that he was over the legal limit. If you get to a 0.1 and or 0.2, you are very aware to the fact that you're drunk. Like, that's how it works. So he can't even use the, well, I didn't know I wasn't drunk excuse. No, you had enough alcohol in your system to know. Like, even season... You're just being
ignorant at that point.
I was going to say an asshole, but that works too.
Yeah, also.
But, like, and so, like, obviously, and, like, alcohol addiction is something that kind of runs in my family a little bit. And, like, my parents don't do that. So, like, my issue with Jimmy, like, yes, I have an issue with that. I don't like when people drive drunk, but, like, also addiction is a thing. And I hope he gets the help for it. My bigger issue is with fucking WWE, because I know for a fact this dude's going to be on TV the second they can get him. And that's the fucking problem.
I would say it would be interesting if he's on TV on Friday, but we both know he probably will be.
Yeah, but that's the fucking problem. Like you said, fucking punish him. You literally write all the rules. You can do whatever the fuck you want to him. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve his job, but if you released him, I wouldn't be upset by it. I'm not saying release him, but, like, you've released so many fucking more people for less recently. But, like, you need to show some fucking accountability. Like, this is your company. If he fucking drives tomorrow drunk and kills somebody, it's not going to say Jonathan Fatu killed 2 people in a fucking crash. It's going to be WWE superstar Jimmy Uso. That fucking WWE thing in front of it is not a good look. It's not going to say ex-WWE superstar. It's going to say WWE superstar, because you have not... I mean, and granted, you can punish him and he can still choose to make bad choices, but you can at least show that you are trying. They're not even trying.
Shannon reminded me the WWE line from either last time or the time before of Jimmy Uso is responsible for his own decisions.
Yeah,
which means we're washing our hands of it. He does whatever, but whatever. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it anymore. We got good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw the next one. I was like, this is going to be at least a 5-minute conversation. I wasn't looking forward to.
You're fine. I just get your life together. Anyway, the big brands AEW and WWE are back to touring. Well, AEW is doing their first show out of Miami tonight.
Daly's place, which is in Jacksonville?
No. They're out of Jacksonville.
Oh, they're doing a show in Miami. Got you.
Yeah, this is their first show, like, back on the road. I'm pretty sure it's in Miami. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 92% sure. Right. And then not next week, but the week after will be the first show WWE does. Like, they're already apparently taping Raw.
Hell yeah.
For Monday. So, but with that, they are announced that SmackDown will be either taping or it'll be a SmackDown show in Madison Square Garden in September. And Madison Square Garden, as part of that announcement on their own Twitter thread, like, this wasn't WWE tweeting this out, this was Madison Square Garden, has said that attendees will have to provide proof that they are fully vaccinated if they're over the age of 16.
You can't tell, but I just did a happy dance.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Go to those, if you go to the comments, there's a lot of really, really misspelled ones saying that this is illegal. Then call the cops and see what they say. It isn't an overreach. It isn't illegal. It's valid. And any business or event center like PAX West is currently catching a lot of shit because they announced that they're having PAX again, but they're not requiring people to be vaccinated. They're just saying, oh, well, if you're not vaccinated, please wear a mask. People who aren't vaccinated aren't going to wear masks. So good job. Good luck with that. But so to me, this is good news. I would like to think to most people listening to this is good news. But yeah,
if you're listening to us and you don't think this is good news, the fucking audacity.
Why?
Yeah,
don't you know? Haven't you learned by now?
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe you're new. We're the Turbo Libs.
Yeah, if you're new, you should have probably figured it out by now.
Dalton, write this down. TLPW, Turbo Lib Pro Wrestling.
On it.
We're doing it. We're making it happen. Coming to a venue near you early 2036.
And if you don't realize that my finisher is going to be the Snowflake Driver, fucking doing it. All right.
Oh, I thought I pushed the button. Sorry for the cough. I thought I pushed my mute button, and I did not.
I didn't hear you, so.
Okay, that's fine. No one knows what I'm talking about. In other good news, there was... Let me rephrase that, because the beginning of this story is sad news, but it turns into good news, so bear with me.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of rumors about Terry Funk being in poor health, suffering from dementia. I've even seen rumors as extreme as he's like about to go into hospice. Apparently, those are overblown. Tommy Dreamer, let me pull up the tweet, actually tweeted out earlier yesterday, "Everyone needs to relax. I just got off the phone with Terry Funk. He is not in bad health. He loves everyone talking about him. Direct quote from Funker. I'm currently sitting in an assisted living place with my thumb up my ass. Whistling Dixie, but I don't remember the words." So, I think the big news out of that is that, Funk is in an assisted living facility, but look at what he has done to his body for 100 years at this point.
Yeah, I don't know his age, but give me a second. Just keep talking for a hot second while I...
But he's been wrestling. He's been wrestling since, wrestling was invented.
Since the 70s.
Yeah. So, it was a running joke about, the Terry Funk retirement tour. So, yeah. He has earned...
All right. So
he has earned a quiet and peaceful retirement.
Yeah,
so,
he's 77 years old. So the fact that this is just now kind of a thing is pretty impressive just for a normal human.
Yeah.
His career, which spans more than 50 years.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, because he's 77. You gotta figure out. I mean, he was in a wrestling family. Him and his brother.
But look at especially the back half of that career.
Oh, you mean the shit that ruled?
The stuff
Fuck
that
you,
he's
kid.
probably most, the Chainsaw Charlie stuff that he was mostly, that he was probably most known for. But how was he able to do this for so long?
The last really cool match he had was in 2006. Because I'm thinking about it. It's one of my favorite matches. But it's the ECW One Night Stand 2006. And it was him and Dreamer versus Mick Foley and Edge.
Oh, yeah, when Foley was, super anti-hardcore stuff?
Yeah. That was 15 years ago, so he was, what would that make him, 62? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was still, fucking lighting motherfuckers on fire and stuff.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Ken Murphy, if you're listening, I stick with what I said. Oh, you mean the back half of his career where he fucking rocked? Yeah. I'm not saying that, he was also in fucking Roadhouse. I can go on and on about how Terry Funk hits for me. But, it's a bummer to hear that he's in assisted living, but he's also 77. But yeah, no, like what you said, the motherfucker deserves a nice quiet life at this point. Are you there?
I'm sorry, I got distracted because, there might be some breaking news.
Oh, please tell me Terry Funk's okay.
No.
Oh, okay, good.
I would not be this excited about it.
I don't need this on my heart right now.
Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. And I don't care. If I'm getting worked, then this is me getting worked. But I don't care because it's hilarious. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. 48 seconds ago. CM Punk's last UFC fight, a loss over 3 years ago to Mike Jackson, has been overturned to a no contest due to Jackson testing positive for weed.
Ha! Oh
the
my god,
Straight
that's
Edge
amazing.
Society lives on forever.
Oh, that's so shitty.
And both a random person and Sean Ross just responded to my, "Is this real? Please tell me this is real." And he said yes.
Oh.
So...
All right, so we're gonna take a
congratulations to CM Punk.
We're gonna take a few minutes here, so I can have a soapbox for a hot second. Being high during a fight doesn't make you a better fighter,
or a foot race. Just gonna throw that out there to make it a little bit more topical.
That's true, but this has been a thing in UFC for a hot minute. Because, and I mean, fuck Matt Riddle, but Matt Riddle. But not even Matt Riddle. I'm going to talk about Nick Diaz for a second. Brock Lesnar can go fight in Brazil right now for UFC if he wanted to. Even after the fucking ban that he has. Because in Brazil they don't test. But, like, he could find places to fight right now. Nick Diaz was on, like, a fucking 7-year suspension because he got his 3rd weed bump and he had a medical marijuana card, but one thing didn't line up, so they suspended him. They are retrograding a fight from how long ago?
3 years, it says.
3 years. So UFC, which has bigger fucking things to worry about right now, and I'm assuming it's Nevada's Athletic Commission, has bigger fucking things to worry about than the fact that a fuck-off fight in the UFC, one of the people had weed, so they're going to turn into a no contest. That's fucking stupid. Like, I mean, yes, granted, it's fucking hilarious. Like, I cannot take away the humor in it, because it's very funny that now CM Punk doesn't have a completely defeated record in the UFC, and that's something that I think he should brag about till he dies now. But man, that is dumb. I hate MMA. That was a big thing that got me out of MMA, was the fact that they're so hell-bent on weed, but they fucking had TRT for like ever, and you had Vitor Belfort fighting into his late 30s on fucking horse steroids, but it's fine because he's on TRT. Fuck them. Fuck them and their high horses, okay? And again, I know this is weird being a wrestling show, but fuck them. All right, we can go back to
No, I mean, you're right. It's stupid. It's going to be legal federally. It's legal in a lot of states. You shouldn't. What happened to the I'm blanking on her name, but the track runner, and now
Shiakari.
Yeah, and now Jackson, like, it's bullshit, but it also pales into comparison to the staggering number of people, of non-violent drug offenders who are in prison for weed, who should all be released and restituted immediately. I don't think restituted is the right word, but they should be recompensated for the amount of time in their life that they have lost. But that's a soapbox. That's a different show. That's a
Wait a minute,
show.
Time, really quick though. I am happy that we told the new listeners that we were super liberal for this to fucking happen. That was foreshadowing that neither of us could have fucking saw coming. Right. That was beautiful. Yeah. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. But hey, Terry Funk hits like a motherfucker. All right, now we can keep going.
Tommy End / Aleister Black has revealed in a badass Instagram video his new name going forward. It is going to be Malachi Blacks. Now, in the video, which also features Josiah Williams, shout out to him, because I'm a big fan of his. In the video, he only says that his name is Malachi, but in the credits of the video, it's listed as Malachi Blacks. And Reddit, as Reddit is wont to do, has gone to town with a bunch of Easter eggs that he has put in this video. I lost the link, but he previously, in one of the Twitch streams that he did under Zelina Vega's Twitch account.
Yeah, which, by the way, speaking of her, congrats on your return.
Yeah, she re-debuted in a really weird fashion on SmackDown.
She has a job. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, not gonna knock anyone on that. She is catching a lot of flack on the internet about the whole I believe in unionization until they offered me another contract. So it's like part of that. I kind of see both sides of that. Of just people need to make a living, but at the same time, I don't know. I get it. I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't think I'm really going to hold it against her even. It's just I can see why people would.
I very much have set a precedent. I love when wrestlers make money. So, yeah, fuck them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, so as you're looking, I'm going to kind of quick through some of these. Ruby Riot's name she's going to change it to Ruby Soho. I like how...
This one's super cool because it's a Rancid song. She's a huge Rancid fan.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
It's a Rancid song, and she did a show or something, like a podcast or an interview, where one of the people from Rancid flat out told her, you should use this, and also, if you wanted to use the song as your entrance, you can.
Fuck yeah.
So, that's badass. I did find it real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
people on Reddit are, because he did that interview on the Twitch, or not the interview, but the Q&A on Twitch, where he said in the background of like the Dark Room promos that he did, he would try to put in little Easter eggs of who he was talking about. So you could go back, and I'm sure you can find a million things. On his file, on his chart, his admission date is the date that he debuted at NXT TakeOver. The clock is stuck at 6:02, and he was released on June 2nd.
Okay.
Let me see. So the doctor examining his eye. You shouldn't get into fights with other patients, especially Matthew. Buddy Murphy's name is actually Matthew Adams.
And that was the one that took his eye.
He's the one that drove him into the stairs, which he even brought up. He's like, he shoved me into the stairs. No, that's all in your head. So it's, and it also, it's cool that he was actually wearing that contact of like, oh, this was the damage done, like to actually make that feel like it was important. But now it's, oh, he's healing. They're treating his eye. Like, just little stuff like that I'm super into. But yeah, calling Matthew another patient in the asylum. He's been released. It's a super cool video. He comes out of this looking like a literal killer. I can't wait to see what more he does wherever he does it. I don't care. I'm going to be there watching. Because I was a fan of Tommy End. What little I knew about him before he signed. I was a huge fan of Aleister Black, and I very much foresee myself as being a big fan of Malachi Blacks.
His first match, which was his first match in WWE at all, was at the UK tournament. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't in the tournament at all. Pac came out the time Neville, and he was just like, "You forgot about me during the Cruiserweight Classic. You forgot about me during this tournament." And then Tommy End, and they say Tommy End, which I had heard the name before, but I never really knew who he was. And they had a killer match. That was a lot of fun. But no, so this is the one that I will play this. I have decided now that Andrade is working with AEW that I want Malachi Blacks to go to AEW. Because I want those two to wrestle again. And I want those two to wrestle without WWE restrictions on them of like what they can and can't do. I also really, really, really want a Kenny Omega Tommy End match.
So one of the things that people kind of focused on that they are not really sure what it actually means, but they are choosing to interpret it is, where did it go? There's so many of these. The title at the end says, "The Devil Made Me Do It," with a D on top of the K in make. Then the K fades out. So some people are reaching for that as the K is Kenny Omega.
Give me what
so it could be, but again, I think that one's a little bit of a stretch for that meaning.
Yeah, probably.
But, who knows? But rapid fire, real quick. Sanjay Dutt has left WWE as a producer and has joined AEW as a producer. That's cool.
Word.
I'm a big fan of Sanjay Dutt. He is very, very talented. Darby Allin is to appear in Jackass 4.
If there was not a better choice for that motherfucker. I'm not going to watch Jackass 4 more than likely, but I'm happy that Darby Allin's in it. Did I ever tell you my Darby Allin story?
You did, but I'm very surprised because Jackass as a franchise seems very up your alley.
It used to be.
Surprised
I loved it as a kid. The issue of it is it's the same thing with watching old wrestlers come back and like do a match. It's like Bob Orton in the mid 2000s against Taker. I don't want to see that. I want to see a bunch of almost 50-year-old.
I don't know if I can go back and watch Steve-O in that condition.
No, I don't. And it's the thing is I haven't watched Jackass in probably 10 years. I definitely watched Jackass 3 and I think I was like a senior in high school. But like knowing how fucked up Steve-O was. Seeing him now is awesome. I follow his YouTube channel. Seeing him now is amazing. I love it now. I'll watch every ounce of content that man puts out. But, I don't want to watch a bunch of almost 50-year-old dudes try to fucking kill themselves for the fame that they used to have. Like, that's not a fun time for me. Also, Ryan Dunn has passed away. He was, like, my favorite one. But no, I used to love Jackass. Like, you were absolutely right. That was some fucking Dalton Anthony content whenever I was a teenager. But... it's cool that Darby Allin's in it. He was across the street from the arena building. This is my quick story. at Super Show 4, there's a skate park right across from the arena building that we run CCW out of. And I was the guy in charge of taking everybody's temperature, which is such a fucking fun job in Missouri. And I go up to Darby Allin and I'm like, hey man, can I take your temperature really quick? And he was like, can you give me like 10 minutes? Because I was just outside skateboarding. This dude just came from a Comic-Con and was in full makeup. So that means he was across the street in full makeup, just skateboarding. That's just what that dude does. So Darby Allin's awesome. Like, I'm happy that he's in Jackass 4.
And also, I want to note that we are not talking about Darby Allin being a perfect fit for Jackass because of like stupid stunts or anything. It's just that skateboard culture that's ingrained within.
Oh no, Asa, you're
Jackass.
misinterpreting me. I think he's a perfect fit for Jackass because of the stupid shit he puts his body through.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, like I understand that he also was a skateboarder, and that was like the roots of Jackass. But I very much think it's a fit for what he does to his body. Because they're gonna say a stunt, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I can do it."
Fair. And then final story we'll talk about tonight is Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins seemingly got married 2 weeks ago because Rollins just posted a story on his Instagram of like them after a workout saying like it's a great day to get married, and then WWE actually congratulated them. And in what is a hot scoop, I have heard that Seth Rollins is actually taking her name. So he's gonna start.
Yeah.
So he's gonna come on SmackDown. We will see him as Sethy Lynch.
All right, so I know we don't do spoilers, Asa, but
I saw it too.
I'm gonna say it.
AEW you have 5 seconds to close out of this podcast if you don't want the Wednesday, July 7th edition of AEW spoiled.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fucking Malachi Black at AEW.
Also, so the biggest thing for me is he's Malachi Black, not Blacks, plural.
Yeah,
that's how it's listed in the credits. So maybe that was like a typo.
That could have been a thing.
But everything I'm seeing is Malachi Black. So hell yeah.
Although he fucking killed Arn Anderson
and Cody. He got them both. So hell yeah, into it.
And on that note, hit up prowrestlingtees.com/Dalton Anthony for all of your Dalton Anthony merch.
Yeah, do that. Get yourself a Dalton Anthony t-shirt. If you missed the 4th of July sale, that's on you. Of course, Podzilla1985.com, Facebook.com/Podzilla1985. If you want to keep up with me, Twitch and Twitter.com/The 5-Star Man with the number 5. And then something special. This past weekend, I helped raise money for charity. I won my game of Mario Golf. So I am going on into the semifinals. Both the semifinals and the finals are all being broadcast this Saturday. The donation link is still up. I'm going to put something out on Twitter here in the next couple days so you can see if you would like to donate. We are part of Team Kinda Funny's Extra Life donation, which all the money is going to the Children's Miracle Network, which is a fantastic cause. I'm very, very happy to be a part of it. I'm having some fun with the other competitors. I got something brewing that I think will be fun to film. But that's going to be Saturday, July 10th. I believe it is starting at 2. This one is starting at 2. Let me get that email pulled up. Yes. It is starting at 2 p.m. Central Time. So that's 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific, wherever you might be. And I am in the final group, which should be starting probably a little bit before 3 Central. And then the finals will take place pretty much just as soon as our game is finished up. So it's a great cause. If you want to watch, you can go to twitch.tv/pleasebeexcited. And that's just please, the letter B, and excited. Ben does a lot of great work within the Kind of Funny community. He does it, like, if you're a Kind of Funny fan, you probably recognize him from the Photoshop challenges because holy crap, the dude is a wizard with Photoshop. But if you can donate, please do. Everything is appreciated. And if you just want to come watch me talk a bunch of shit to people I don't know, who I really hope understand that I am not actually like this, please do. So yeah, that's that. Thank you so much for everybody for coming out. And I don't know why I said that. Now my brain is turned off. I'm excited about Malachi Black. Dalton, I'm excited about Malachi Black.
Yeah, me too. He killed Arn Anderson.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Yarn. I don't like that. No, we're not going to end on that.
No, don't end it on that. That sounds bad.
Nope. Dalton, take us out.
Malachi Black's in AEW. That's fucking cool.